The episode starts with Kim Chul running away from the ice elves, assuming that now he can survive only if he hadn't starved for days. As he continues running, he noticed that all the ice bears are dead, and he can't believe that Jinwoo's team did it, and he thinks it must be done by Hyuki. Then he starts running again to protect himself. Outside the dungeon, Yoon-go and Dong-so are fighting, but another member stops them and asks them to not to fight. They then talk about Jinwoo's ranking and say they checked his magic power, and also they confirm that Jinwoo is still at an E rank. Meanwhile, Dong-so always loses interest in Jinwoo and says now he's going to bed. However, inside the dungeon, Jinwoo's team is having a good time when Kim Chul arrives, but Kim Chul got shocked to see that Jinwoo's team have warm clothes, food, and everything they need. He can't believe it because they are all low-rank hunters. Then he calls out them and tells them that his team was wiped out due to a lack of supplies. And then he asks them who hide all the supplies. But after getting no reply, he takes out his sword to attack them, but Jinwoo slaps him and knocks him down. Then Jinwoo talks to Kim Chul and asks about the situation. But suddenly, an ice elves show up and call them trash, which makes Jinwoo angry. He asks the ice elves if they just called him trash. The ice elves got surprised to know that Jinwoo can talk to monsters, and Jinwoo also wonders how it's possible for him. Then the leader of the ice elves introduces Jinwoo to the ice elves who told them about humans. While the leader is talking, Jinwoo cuts off the heads of the ice elves that the leader was introducing, and then Jinwoo asks the leader if he has anything else to say. The ice elf leader finds Jinwoo interesting and asks him why he is with humans if he is not human himself. Jinwoo doesn't understand, so the ice elf leader explains that they constantly hear a voice telling them to kill humans, but they can't hear it when Jinwoo is around. Jinwoo thinks this is similar to the system's orders he gets. Then the ice elf leader says they don't need to fight Jinwoo because he doesn't want any casualties and asks Jinwoo to hand over the humans. But Jinwoo refuses. Then the ice elves arrive with their leader and ask Jinwoo if he thinks he can defeat the army considering lower in number than the humans. Jinwoo then summons his shadow army, and seeing it everyone got surprised as they amazed to see the monsters have suddenly appeared. But ice elf leader calls it as a cheap trick. Then a battle begins between Jinwoo's shadow army and the ice elves. Jinwoo believes his army can handle the ice elves, but he sees the leader as a major threat. However, the ice elves leader introduces himself as Baruka and asks for Jinwoo's name. Then they start fighting, but Jinwoo is struggling to land his attack on Baruka as Baruka is blocking them easily. Jinwoo uses magic to attack on Baruka to get some time. Meanwhile, Kim Chul wakes up and now he also wants to kill Jinwoo. At the same time, Baruka charges at Jinwoo, but Jinwoo calls Igris for help. And in the meantime, Igris kills Kim Chul easily. Then Jinwoo teams up with Igris to fight Baruka, but Baruka thinks they are still not strong enough to beat him. Jinwoo adds the dead Kim Chul to his shadow army by saying arise and named him Iron. However, Baruka is confident that even with long-term soldiers cannot stop him. Then Baruka attacks Jinwoo, but Iron steps in and uses his skill called Taunting Cry to block Baruka's attack. Baruka thinks another powerful fighter has joined the battle. Baruka and Iron start fighting, and after a few exchanges, Baruka admits he can't win against Iron. Then Jinwoo sarcastically asks, "How about 3 of us?" As they fight, the other members watch in amazement, thinking all hunters must be strong as Jinwoo, and they can't believe what they're seeing and wonder if it's real or a dream. The fight goes on, and Jinwoo uses attacks to paralyze Baruka, but Baruka's resistance cancels the effect of Jinwoo's attack. Then Jinwoo points out that Baruka's ice elves army is completely gone, but Baruka vows to finish off Jinwoo's shadow army after defeating Jinwoo. The battle continues, but when Jinwoo throws his weapon away, Baruka starts laughing. But then Jinwoo uses his skill to control objects without touching them, speeds up the weapon, and attacks Baruka. Iron grabs Baruka from behind, and the shadow army hits Baruka with blast magic. But after all this, Baruka survives. Jinwoo then attacks Baruka and declares this is Baruka's end now. In the meantime, Baruka grabs Jinwoo's hand and asks Jinwoo who he thinks he's facing. Suddenly, Iron attacks Baruka with a sword and defeats him. With this, Jinwoo has beaten the dungeon boss and says it's finally over. Everyone is amazed by the fight, and especially with the Jinwoo's powers. But Iron keeps attacking the dead Baruka, and Jinwoo asks him to stop. However, Jinwoo got worried about the future after seeing this. After defeating all the enemies, the Shadow Army celebrates, and Jinwoo tells every hunter to leave the dungeon. Everyone got happy after hearing this. But as they head out, Jinwoo keeps thinking about Baruka. What will happen next? Is Dong-soo still waiting for Jinwoo outside the dungeon? Well, we'll find out about this in the next episode, which we are going to publish next week. In the meantime, you can watch other anime videos on our channel. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.